The Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17 Reunion Part 1 was just Phaedra and K. Michelle propaganda. Yeah, I said it. Let's talk about it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Tears Take. I am reviewing the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 17 Reunion Part 1. If you love the Real Housewives and all of their shenanigans, go ahead and hit subscribe. And as I'm going through my thoughts, add your takes below because I'm very interested. Okay, so Lord, this isn't going to take long because the reunion didn't give what I think it should have gave. But again, this is a two-way dialogue. Hit me up below and let me know your thoughts. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm not going to go bit by bit, scene by scene, read by read. I'm really going to just kind of give you the highlights and things that stood out to me. The good, the bad, the wins, the flops. So let's go. Okay, so right off the bat, I see that they are trying very early on to substantiate Phaedra. They are trying to give us a reason why Phaedra is actually sitting on that couch. Because why, on God's green earth, when there are 20 episodes to talk about, why are we introduced to unseen footage so early on? I think they saw people asking, why is Phaedra full-time? Get rid of Phaedra. Phaedra's not doing anything. K. Michelle, who is right up there with her and not doing anything, also commented in the season that all she does is giggle and make faces, right? So we know that Phaedra's a Bravo darling. We know Phaedra's not going anywhere. So they had to credentialize her real quick. And they were like, oh yeah, let's show some really cool unseen footage. And we see her meeting up with Jasmine Crockett. And, they start to dive into the fact that Phaedra has some political aspirations. So congratulations. Happy birthday. I would be interested in seeing it as the storyline. I'm interested in seeing anything from Phaedra at this point because we're not getting anything. So go ahead, girl. But I found that really interesting that they're really trying to throw her a bone to say, like, hey, she deserves a spot here. Like, don't lose faith yet. Okay. All right. So I think the next thing I want to say is Drew was really performative. And that's nothing new for Drew. Like, we've seen her shenanigans. We've seen her throwing the dog bone. We've seen her bringing that really creepy wig to the Christmas party. We've seen her do her antics, right? But she had the nerve to talk about Shamia being performative, which Shamia is. But she had the nerve to say, oh, Shamia, you're so extra. You're so performative. Like, okay, like, you're corny. Like, you flopped. Like, trying to, act like I'm the cool girl. You're just this, little thirsty, performative weirdo. But Drew, you kind of gave performative weirdo. Like, listen, I'm for the camp of it all, and I go back and forth with the props. When a prop is done well, I'm here for it. But when it is, too planned out and too much of a, it gets to a point, and with you in this little, clapper or whatever it's called, the director board, It did not move me. It made me just roll my eyes. It wasn't, to me, it didn't land. It might have landed with other people. If it did, let me know below. But, I was just like, oh, girl. Because in the finale, you literally, when Shamia brought out her HOA bill, the invoice, you had so much to say, oh, my God, really, you're doing this now? And it's like, girl, we can say the same thing about you. There was a lot of hypocrisy in this reunion. Y'all are giving Beverly Hills, because Beverly Hills, I think, has the most hypocrisy, a little Potomac, but my God, it was very palpable in this reunion. So y'all need to check that. So that was another thing that stood out to me. We got into Porsha's package, and I really liked he was just the wrong damn one that Miss Diane had originally said about Cordell, but then they played it for Dennis, and then they also played it again for Simon. And so, shout out to Porsha. She's in love with Sway. She feels good, and her family's supportive, so that's beautiful. That's awesome. It was strange that, Andy knows that Porsha wants nothing to do with Shamia. He was, asking Shamia for some, Like, well, what do you think, Shamia? Like, what is she supposed to say? I'm mad that she found love. It was a weird, I thought it was weird because I feel like we'll see what he does when it's Shamia's, package. But I highly doubt he's going to be like, Porsha, and what do you think about Shamia, using her last male embryo? Like, I feel like if they're completely at odds, why would you go to that person and ask, like, why would you go to their op and be like, and what do you think? Like, please say something good. I don't know if he's going to do the same thing for Shamia, but we'll see. And so, like, obviously Shamia was like, no, I'm happy for her. I'm glad her family's on board. And then at the end, she had to ruin it with the happy pride because I think she was trying to do another jab because, Porsha picked up on the shade that Shamia had said that, in a prior interview. And Shamia, I feel like it was awkward for Andy to ask in the first place. I do acknowledge that. But I also think, Shamia, you could have just ended it. It was so good to just say, I'm glad you're happy. I'm glad your family's on board. Leave it there. Like, don't give the trolls more fuel to, like, hate you. And honestly, it's a lose-lose because I feel like anything you say probably would have been fodder. I think maybe if you did leave it at something positive, then the people would have been like, oh, she's fake. She said she wasn't doing that fake stuff. And then when you kind of add in a little zinger, then it's, people like me reprimanding you now. So, I mean, I get it. I think people are probably people that are committed to not liking you. And I'm not one of those people, but I think people that are committed to not liking her, will just have a problem either way. In my opinion, I was just like, I don't know. Everything doesn't need to be shade. Everything doesn't need to be like a little one-liner or a zinger. It could have just been like, girl, congratulations, happy birthday. It would have been like, I'm happy for you, good job. But I do acknowledge it was weird of Andy to put her in that position in the first place. So back to Phaedra's package, they were talking about, they basically got to a revelation that Mike had dated Phaedra as well, prior to Porsha. And again, Phaedra, why are we hearing about this not during the season? It's a joke at this point. Like, I wish I could perform like Phaedra does at her job and like get all the praise and get all the accolades and get all of this like job security, because you just skate through doing absolutely nothing. That could have been a cute Kiki taking Porsha out. Hey girl, like, how are you enjoying Mike? Yeah girl, like, I'm glad you don't mind my leftovers, ha ha ha. And it would have been like, okay, like, what happened? If y'all were cool with it, it could have just been, it didn't have to be anything like, it didn't have to be a fight or an argument or you talking behind Porsha's back. It could have just been something real cute, a little funny confessional like you do, and then like that and end it there. But the fact that we're finding this out at a reunion, like, it's so, I'm just like, I don't care. So anyway, because of the Phaedra dating Mike story, she said, it's not a big deal. I let Porsha know and she was cool with it and we're good. And then that made K. Michelle jump in because she's the other one who they're trying to like make happen, because she did not make herself happen during this reunion or during the season at all. She was completely mute and weird and delusional. So they're trying to help her out, right? So I think K. Michelle knew this. So I think K. Michelle was like, okay, let me bring something because I looked crazy this entire season. So anyway, so that opened up the door for K. Michelle to jump in and say, well, you see how Phaedra gave Porsha the heads up about Mike. I would have appreciated Porsha giving me the heads up that she dated my ex, which K. Michelle, the streets are saying that you didn't really date him. You were on some like show, didn't want him, and like that was that. But sure, we can call him an ex. K. Michelle's mad that Porsha dated Nash and didn't give her the heads up. And Porsha, to her defense, she's like, girl, you're married. We weren't friends at the time. Like, we were just starting to get friendly. So why would I bring that to you? And I actually agree with Porsha on this. Honestly, there's no right way to approach it. If you approach it head on, it's like, I'm married. Why are you bringing up my past? That's weird. I just met you. Are you trying to start mess? Or if you don't tell that person right away, then it's like, oh, you're sneaky. Like you're not a girl's girl. So it's a delicate situation either way, especially with a person like K. Michelle, because you wanted the heads up about Nash, but then you got mad at Drew just saying that you knew Black. She didn't say you DM'd him and you did this and you did that, and she didn't have any extra sauce on it or any or any innuendo. She literally said, oh, well, you know him. And it was, I'm married. Why would you say that? So it's like, why would Porsha, after that reaction, why would Porsha be like, oh yeah, and I dated your, like, get out of here, K. Michelle, please. That's what I would have said. I hope someone brought that up and maybe they cut it out. But I would have brought that up because you got mad at someone saying you knew Black, but then you wanted Porsha to bring up, someone that you were actually intimate with. Anyway, one thing I did want to point out is until we got to a little later in the episode, K. Michelle's initial demeanor with Porsha, again, just the difference between K. Michelle and Porsha and Drew and K. Michelle is just night and day. What smoke do you have for Drew? My God. Like, honestly, Drew having her little shot in the beginning, because they talked about Drew getting her body done, and Drew was like, yeah, my butt's not leaking, got a little BBL, it's not leaking, it's good. I personally wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't shade someone's medical issue, and you just never know what you're in for. You don't know what's coming your way. So I just try not to put things out there that may come back to me. You're good now, but are you going to be good 6 months down the road? We don't know. So I wouldn't personally give that little shot towards K. Michelle. But at the end of the day, K. Michelle has shaded her and came for her so much during the season that you're going to get these lashings now because I had to endure your craziness all season, in person and in the confessional. So yeah, I'm going to stand up for myself now. So, I understand why Drew said it, but I wouldn't have said that. But anyway, I feel like Porsha plays in K. Michelle's face a lot. And K. Michelle basically took it all season. And then she kind of zhuzhed it up and got a little rah-rah at the reunion because she knew her job was on the line. But at the end of the day, she was still laughing at Porsha when Porsha was mocking her accent and mocking her. Porsha was calling her all types of, you got different personalities. Porsha plays in that lady's face all day. And her demeanor is still either very calm, very, pragmatic. And then, like I said, I think she, put a little spice on for the reunion. But even with them arguing, she still was laughing and smirking and smiling and still thought some of the things that Porsha was saying was funny. Whereas Drew can blink in her direction and she's ready to jump out her seat, and it's so weird. We need to get in the bottom of that. It's strange. I just wanted to point that out. That was definitely noted. And I hope someone calls her out. I hope they dive more into that and talk about what's the real reason that you have such a hard on for Drew and you cannot keep that same energy for Porsha. Because I know this must be this must be an unpopular opinion. I think every single content creator that I normally listen to, I for the most part agree with their opinions. Normally I'm here with them. We see each other. I gotta say, most of the people who I listen to or watch, a lot of them were saying, oh, I don't think Porsha meant anything harmful about asking K. Michelle about a miscarriage. A lot of people have said that. I've seen it online. A lot of people I listen to and watch. And I'm so that's the one thing I disagree on. So it must be unpopular, I guess. I don't know. Again, let me know below. I think that was wildly inappropriate. I feel like it was calculated. I do not think for 1 second that it was a oops, because what woman, especially a woman who experienced that unimaginable pain, how does that fall out of your mouth? Oh, is that a miscarriage? What? I don't know. I'm blown away by so many people that are it's Porsha. She didn't mean it. Are you kidding me? I don't think Porsha meant it as, like, shade. I don't think she was trying to down a woman for potentially going through that. I think Porsha was trying to assert her dominance. I think Porsha was trying to jolt K. Michelle and kind of knock her off her square a little bit and be like, yeah, bitch, this is my show, in case you didn't know. I'm going to pretend that I care and pat you on the arm and have a really sweet voice and my, like, bimbo, like, space cadet, like, demeanor. And I'm going to, like, disarm you with that so you can't say I did it on purpose. But just so you know, don't get too cute, honey. This is my show, so you can be on my side. Which is why she had her at the lunch when she attacked Kelly with the married man rumor. That was a test of, yo, you gonna be on my side? You gonna roll with me? Oh, you called me out. Oh, you didn't like that. Okay, now I see how you are. Okay. Oh, okay. That was a test. I'm surprised I haven't heard anyone say this. But these are little micro-calculated things that a personality like Porsha is 100% capable of. And that's just what I believe. Is it true? I have no proof, but that's what I believe. Porsha is not book smart, but she's very calculated and manipulative. And I 100% believe that there was a strategic reason for her to say that. And I think there was a reason why she had her sitting there when she went after Kelly. And I think there was a reason why she said, I'm not going to fight with her. I want to usher her to a safe space. I want to be here for her. I want to, someone's plotting on you? Is it me? Tell me. Because it's good for her rebrand. She didn't have a great brand the past couple of years. This is part of the rebrand. This is the PR media trained, she's now signed to a talent agency. Like, these are, she has to be more careful with her brand now. So going up against K. Michelle, why would I go against her when you can just be part of the Go Naked clique? So I'm not going to go in fighting you. I'm going to go in and say, I just want you to have a safe space. I just want to be your friend. That's what you want to do. But you also want to remind her, I want to be your friend, but I'm also the face of the show. So don't get too cute, honey. You're a big name, but I'm the big name on this show and this network. That's what that was about, in my opinion. I could be wrong. Don't fight me. It's my opinion. If you got another opinion, great. That's my opinion. And I think the awkwardness with how nice Porsha came in was that K. Michelle came in wanting to fight someone. She came in on the defense. Every time someone was nice to her, she has said it more than once on camera. Oh my God, you guys are so nice to me. Oh, how am I supposed to fight with you guys when you're so nice to me? She said that like 2 or 3 times on camera. She said it to Cynthia, and I think she might have said it to Porsha as well. But she definitely said it more than once of like, so she came in expecting I'm going to fight. And maybe that's why she picked Drew, because everyone picks Drew. Maybe she came in like, oh, another singer. People didn't like her last year. That's an easy target. I'm going to come in, shade her music, and have beef with her. But anyway, so that was a big tangent, but I had to get that off my chest because I haven't seen anyone have the same opinion. And I'm like, I feel like I'm crazy. Anyway, so then we do see a K. Michelle package. They talk about her husband not wearing underwear in his scrubs. That's freaking disgusting. I'm about to gag thinking about it. I would literally switch to a different dentist if I was one of his patients. That's so disgusting. K. Michelle is so weird. I don't know. I think people that talk about whatever. Anyway, so Andy pretty much asked her about her delusion and where are these thoughts of plots and schemes and all of that. Where is that coming from? K. Michelle, doesn't name names. And I'm like, girl, keep it on the playground then. Because this is the reunion. And the only way to justify her, and this is only part 1, but so far, you're not justified in having that first seat because you need to come with receipts. I want you to shut me and everyone else who was like, K. Michelle's delusional, she's making this up, she's hearing voices, she has multiple personalities, she's not fit for this show. Come with receipts to shut all of the naysayers up. But, oh, I heard from a makeup artist and I heard from a blogger. That's not good enough, honey. Do better. And he also asked, like, do you regret tweeting like a maniac instead of, like, talking to your people in scene, you know, what you're getting paid to do. Andy didn't say that verbatim, but that's basically what he said. And I feel like K. Michelle was picking up what he was putting down. And so K. Michelle did backtrack a little bit, kind of like, well, you know, it's something I've always done. And, you know, I would do a lot of things differently. And, you know, she gave an answer to kind of acknowledge, like, that she would have done things and handled things differently. So, fine. Porsha apologizes again for the miscarriage comment and says, you know, I'm an advocate for March of Dimes and I have a rainbow baby, which is true. I don't want to, like, say that I'm not trying to diminish that. But she was saying, like, you know, I couldn't possibly, like, use that. I don't know. I just don't believe I don't think that just falls out of someone's mouth, especially if you've been through it. I would never, ever, 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 ever do that. But we're different people. So basically, Andy, you know, also told K. Michelle, like, he gave her kind of the nod of, like, girl, stop this crazy tweeting and do your job and talk to these people on the show. So again, K. Michelle was picking up K. Michelle picked up what he was putting down, and she, you know, agreed that she was gonna do a little bit better. And then, okay, so then when we get into, like, some of the conflicts, you know, we had K. Michelle and Porsha. I think they were, like, the main ones of the reunion. It got nasty, but then, like I said, like, half the time K. Michelle was laughing and smiling, so I'm just like, is this even real? But K. Michelle tried to go for the cheap jab of, like, oh, well, close. I don't even want to say the word because I don't know if you can say it on YouTube, but basically saying that Portia's, like, ran through and sleeps with a lot of guys, and it's like, and what else is going on? Like, it's, again, with the lazy reads. And Porsha threw it back on her, like, girl, you had plenty as well. So, next. There was also a moment of Porsha versus Kelly. Kelly saying, you know, Portia's in Simon's house and she's paying for Simon's house. And Porsha was like, girl, like, you know, if I'm in Simon's house, you're in Shamia's house. So, you know, what's tea? Now that I think about it, Porsha, I was kind of like going into this that there wasn't really like a winner of the reunion. If I had to pick, it had to be Porsha. It's crazy, man. Like, I can't tell anyone that she's married. You worry about that. Use all of this to tell your half-told storyline, okay? Stop jumping on Shamia. You are so unlikable this season. My God. Shut up. But yeah, so she kept jumping on her. Who else was going back and forth? So we had Porsha versus K. Michelle, Porsha versus Kelly, Angela versus Kelly, a little bit of Angela and Shamia, and then, like, a little bit of Shamia and Drew, like, not Shamia, Drew, K. Michelle and Drew. That was because, like, of the black situation, of, like, trying to say, like, whether or not Drew was trying to assert that K. Michelle knew him. And they also had asked, you know, Drew's relationship status with him. And I was just like, again, girl, no one cares. It's still like, we're just friends. And they had said that Black pretty much has, like, some legal issues, and people are accusing him of, like, scamming these women and things like that. I don't appreciate Drew, like, going as hard for him as she did, because it's like, if there are multiple people saying that he's done something, he might have done it. So don't go on the record and don't go on such a big platform, like, waving the flag for Black and, like, He's a wonderful person. Okay, he might treat you well, but if he could also be scamming other black women. So you could have just shut your mouth and you could have just said, you know what, I don't know anything about it. We're going to see where this goes. But, you know, right now we're just friends. Could have been that. But the fact that you were like, oh, I don't believe these women and da-da-da-da-da, like, believe women, especially multiple women, right? Overall, it was an okay start to the reunion. It wasn't, I would rate it maybe maybe a 6. I would give it maybe a 6. It was okay. It wasn't anything where I felt like I want to rewatch it. It wasn't like super funny. It wasn't super interesting. I didn't really find out anything new except for like Phaedra's, you know, unseen footage, like, you know. So, you know, it was solid, but it wasn't earth shattering. So, drop down below your thoughts. Let me know what you rate the reunion. Oh, and the looks. The looks were okay. I didn't understand that it's like a dynasty theme from what I heard, but then it was like a Scottish background, like a backdrop of them kind of in like a Scottish castle wearing these dynasty gowns. That looked weird to me. If I got it wrong, let me know, but that's what it looked like. That seemed weird. I'm like, who thought of that? Like, it should have been like a really zhuzhed up dynasty set, or they could have dressed in like Scottish clothes and been on the Scottish set. I don't know. Call me weird. Overall, the looks were okay. Porsha looked good. The brightness of the dress I wasn't a fan of. But Porsha looked good. I think Angela looked good. Basically, I think that couch looked the best. I didn't like Drew's hair. I didn't love Angela's hair. I feel like she could have did something a little more special, but it looked good. Other couch, I didn't like K. Michelle's wig. I didn't really like her dress either, but I didn't like her wig especially. I think if she did a black, maybe like bob or something, that looks really good on her. That could have been good. Who else? Kelly. Kelly always looks like she's in a costume. I didn't love it. There was the picture that she posted with Jarvis. Oh, we saw Jarvis, like, womp womp. I don't know. This reunion was kind of like, eh. But Kelly, the picture she posted with Jarvis, it looked better than it looked in person of her, like, walking and sitting. She's so small, and I feel like when she does too much, it looks like a costume. It overconsumes her. Shamia, I didn't like her hair. And I didn't really like that top of her dress either. Maybe it could have looked more regal if she maybe had like a bigger, fuller bun or something. Or maybe if she took that top part off and like changed her hair. There could have been something, but like chest down, I thought she looked really good. Who was next? Pinky. I don't like the hair color. And like she announced her pregnancy, so congratulations to Pinky. But I don't know. I'm just, you know what? When you're pregnant, I get it. I'm just gonna leave her alone. I'm gonna leave it there. So they looked okay. Andy was gushing, was like, "Ugh, this is the best dress reunion." I'm like, is it? Child, I guess. Anyway, let me know below your thoughts. Those were just like some quick hit things that stood out to me. Let me know what stood out to you. I'm very interested to know. If you made it this far, give that video a like. And I'm gonna see y'all in part 2, okay? Mwah. Bye.